Which one of us is the suspicious, shadowy infiltrator? I don't know. Which one of us sounds weird? Here on Future Please. A vile visit the Bajor. My name is Joseph.
Listeners, it's been a while. I've missed you. Hey, you're not going to believe what your neighbors are doing. We're going to have to go fuck them up. You got a gun, right? You got a couple. Come on, we're going to need all the guns.
Don't ask questions. It's like the town. I need you to get a gun, come with me, and don't ask any questions.
Mm-hmm. I'm your boss, by the way. I'm your co-host, Peter.
So, to our listeners, no, I'm not doing a bit. I still sound like this, but we love you so much. We're not going to delay in putting out our next episode of our show. And I'll tell you what, though, Peter, some folks that are on our listeners already know I sound like this because I watched fucking Starfleet Academy with them last weekend.
Fuck Starfleet Academy. I want to talk about the numbers that I see on that undiscovered country. Boy, how...
Oh, yeah. That was a very popular episode for us.
Funny how a little bit of good Trek goes a very long way on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, it's funny. You're over here about to talk about this abomination Starfleet Academy because I'm listening to, what was it, Facets? And the amount of time that we talk about Starfleet Academy and admissions and officers in the Federation and Starfleet, right when that thing's about to come out, do you think you having watched this, do you think any percentile of the conversation we had was entertained by that writer's room as they were prepping this thing?
Oh, I can tell you with absolute certainty, after watching both the first and the second episode of Starfleet Academy, that at no time do the people responsible for the creation of that episode spend even a fraction of the time we did talking about it, except to come up with one line in one episode to explain away why Starfleet is no longer the best of the best, to give themselves cover from the kind of conversation that we had. Let me actually start with something much more positive. Like, a dozen plus people showed up in Discord randomly to watch along. My wife did it with me. We actually watched the second episode ourselves. It was fantastic. I had a great time with everybody. It was fun. It made the experience bearable. And we have great fans, and I really appreciate how many of them showed up and were very cool and knew exactly what we were doing that night and had a good time, right? No one was too out of pocket. No one was weird. You know, like, it's cool when
you're going to get that one guy sitting in there with his cell phone recording it, and you're going to have bootleg live casts circulating on the internet. You're going to have to start being like the comedians that make everybody show their phones going in a box.
But the show itself, let me just very brief. It's everything you thought it was going to be, right? Like, it's poorly written millennial slop that doesn't have even so much as a whiff of understanding what Star Trek actually is, isn't made for people who like it, isn't written by people who have understand it, and you feel bad for the good actors who are doing the bad material, and you feel contempt for everything and everyone else that was involved. And
did you watch it on YouTube?
I watched the first episode on YouTube. I watched the second episode illegally.
Rumor has it that the first episode on YouTube that they left the views on, the likes and dislikes, and they left the comments on.
They did, and it was a terrible idea.
Is it? Because if you're Skydance and you're trying to just make it clear why you are discontinuing a property that was put out, having, red lettering very clearly indicating this is not good, people do not like this, and you shouldn't make more of it, seems like a great way to like chill investors out or whatever the stakeholders are to get this thing off the air. Because again, this is Kurtzman under Paramount, and then Skydance just bought it. And I know, well, I don't know, but the rumor is that there is bad blood between Kurtzman and Skydance, or Skydance and Kurtzman, that they're not interested in continuing his Trek. And this is, his...
It's apparently he somehow managed under the gun before the changeover to get a second season of this approved, which is insane to me. I mean, I hope you're right? Like, I hope everything you said is correct. I hope Kurtzman has just tried to jam the zone with what feels like a fucking money laundering scheme to pay off all of his people one last time. Because if you look at the producers on this, it's like people like Tanny Newsome are producers on this, like from Lower Decks. Like, because she was promised to develop some fucking Star Trek show of her own. Clearly, that's not going to happen. So they paid her off on this. I don't know. It's like one of those old Adam Sandler movies that he made in the like late 2000s. It all felt like
Is
money
it?
laundering
Because
schemes.
those made a lot of money for everybody. Adam Sandler was gold.
This thing, 182,000 views in 5 days. That's it. 182,000 views in 5 days. Motherfuckers who have reviewed this have 5 times as many views in half as much time.
Well,
like no one wanted to watch this.
I'm proud to say that none of those views came from my eyeballs because I was busy watching Deep Space Nine Season 3, Episode 26, The Adversary, first aired June 25th, 1995. I'm going to skip over whatever this arc thing is. Written by Ira Stephen Bear, Robert Hewitt Wolf. Big names right there. Directed by Alexander Singer. What has Singer done?
I'll look that up while you finish.
No mention of our boy, Robert Moore. And I'm assuming that so much attention was put in on this episode between Ira Stephen Bear and Robert Hewitt Wolf that they didn't notice what a piece of junk Facets was prior to it.
So Alexander Singer also did in TNG Relics, Ship in a Bottle, Descent Part 1 and 2, Gambit Part 2, Homeward, Deep Space Nine. He did Second Sight, which had the Hot Elf, Heart of Stone, obvious banger, Distant Voices, Herman's Head episode, you hated it.
Mm-hmm.
The Adversary, a couple episodes we haven't seen yet. Voyager, it gets a little rough. Tattoo, Threshold.
Erase the Voyager stuff. Everything else, visually lit, dark, and heavier subject material.
Agreed.
We have talked many times at this point about the common sense and the existential threat that doppelgangers create in media, whether it's TV shows or role-playing games. And this is what I keep going back to because this is the truth, man. Like, one good doppelganger antagonist NPC in a D&D session and you can never trust your reality with that party group again. Like, it just burns itself and like, man, we got played so hard.
Yeah.
I've got many vivid experiences with this. And you know, it almost feels in some way in role-playing games like the first time you kill something that's sentient, like there's this obligatory, like, we need to sit down and talk about how we just murdered somebody. And that is going to be something that is just persistent through the rest of the adventure campaign. And we're going to build who we are as a adventuring party or as an organization around that. And the same thing with a doppelganger, because once you have such eroded trust in the environment and the people around you, like, it changes you for good. And there's been plenty of TNG episodes where they've had very elaborate ruses and schemes, usually holodecks, sometimes Q Magic Fantasy experiences where the world isn't real around us. We're in some VR simulation. And, you know, in TNG, it's kind of the homeostasis thing at the end. Like, well, we've learned our lesson. We thwarted that. And we've got this playful 80s vibe of like, here was some sci-fi shit, but we friendshipped our way through it, and we're not going to have to worry about that again. That nightmare of distrust has gone away. And that is absolutely impossible in Deep Space Nine when you're gearing up for a conflict with people who are ruled by doppelgangers, and their entire modus operandi is to fuck everything up around them as itself.
So that was a fantastic opening to the discussion about this thing. Just very briefly, I want to say, like, while from a dramatic perspective, I think I like In the Name of the Prophets and the Jem'Hadar a bit more as season closeouts. They're a little bit bigger, a little heavier, a little bit more actor focused. This is excellent in one pattern I've seen, which is Deep Space Nine episodes tend to have a end of the season that tells you what the next season's going to be about, right? In the
Yeah.
Name of the Prophets tells you the next season's going to be about all of the bullshit of Bajoran politics and religion. And it is. You've got the whole Circle trilogy to start. You've got the whole thing with Wynn becoming Kai. And it dominates a lot of what happens. What happens at the end of the second season? The next season is going to be about the fact that Dominion has emerged as a threat and everyone starts freaking out over it. And we have a whole season about that, right?
Except for when we're taking the Defiant to go do science missions.
I mean, you gotta have 26 episodes. You gotta filler. But this is, what is the next season going to be about? Oh fuck! The founders don't just are the head of an interstellar empire with fuck you technology that can blow up our best ships. They can take us apart from the inside because they are among us. They're here and they're fucking us up. And we know this was possible because we just saw it happen to our antagonists. And we just kind of sat back and let it happen. And now it's happening to us and it's not cool.
They did watch it happen to not allies, but neighbors.
Antagonistic neighbors. The Cardassians and the Romulans. That's the whole reason the Federation was like, took their heads back. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, these are our enemies, really, on paper.
Odo had front row seats, and Garrick, that was his name, Labrium Tane.
The neighboring team, yeah.
Was duped by a changeling posing as a Tal Shiar upper echelon manager.
Who had clearly fooled the Romulans because he came with a whole pack of fucking warbirds. And tons of people.
Fooled the Obsidian Order. And this is what we've said before. Like, the Federation might have these other guys. The Romulans, it's arguable. But, you know, the Federation might be able to outclass the warships of the Cardassians. And maybe the Federation has overall better technology than the Romulans. And I don't want to get into fucking Section 31.
Right.
But as far as an in-your-face, we exist out in the open, and this is a name spoken on everybody's lips, the Tal Shiar, the Obsidian Order, they were the real threats to the founders. That, okay, these guys, they're not maybe the most influential.
They're the ones playing ball at the level necessary to be threats to us. They're not the purest powers, like force projection. That's the Federation. But they're the realest people in the room. They know what the fuck is up. We have to get rid of them.
And they couldn't see this coming. And they walked right into our trap, and we busted them over the head with a chair and then slit their throats. And Garrick watched it happen, and Odo watched it happen. They brought these reports back to the Federation. We're like, man, a upper operator, a commander or whatever the fuck, an admiral in the Tal Shiar was a changeling and took the Cardassian, held him by the hand like a child across the street of, we're going to cause a civil war because we are going to get the Obsidian Order to break its core foundation principle, and we're going to build you an army illegally. And then you're going to go pick a war with some bad guys in a different quadrant of space. And we just let it happen. And then, you know, you think about the Borg and what Commander Shelby was doing, this other stuff, like the Federation took that real serious. And I think they're taking this Dominion thing real serious. But I don't think they were taking the infiltration real serious. And it feels to me like at no point when someone's like, well, fuck, man, if they could put a ringer in as a Tal Shiar upper agent, like, what's stopping them from impersonating a Starfleet captain or any other fucking person or organization? And what a great episode to yank the blinds back and blind the Federation and Starfleet with the truth outside, which is we can and we absolutely are going to do it to you too. And what I love about the changelings is, like, you've been presented with Odo, who is this very alien, obtuse man-child who is clumsy and not a smooth operator. He's very rigid.
Right.
And then you have these very alien changelings that are this big pile of goo in the link, and their weird rules with each other, but they understand the humanoids. They understand everybody around them. They can pass by perfectly.
Because they're much older. They've been around for an indeterminate amount of time.
They're malicious with their application of their changeling, of their mimicry, right?
Right.
And they see that you can just pull little threads here and there and collapse everything around. So yeah, what a double threat. Not only do you have to worry about this Borg level technology threat that's just going to hammer through fucking Galaxy class starships, but also a level of cloak and dagger that nobody can be prepared for.
The best part to me is that the fourth season starts with immediate fallout from the shit that has happened, right? Like, this isn't like a Voyager episode where some heavy shit goes down and maybe you revisit it once or twice if you're lucky. No. This is just as impactful as the Odyssey blowing up. All right? This shit matters a fuck lot. And it is in the next episode that you start to see, like, when this, like you said, when the doppelganger threat enters the chat and everyone starts to lose their fucking minds, starting with some people that maybe expect them to, but fourth season has a crazy good episode pair in it that goes deep into what happens to the Federation when it happens to them, and the consequences of that. And it's bad. Like, and the fact that this show has the confidence to be like, we're going to take Gene's baby and we're going to put it in a bad spot and we're going to see what kind of stories come from it. And it's this begins what people really think is, as of Deep Space Nine, golden run, season 4 to season 7. Like, this is where the show really, quote unquote, begins.
Could have fooled me, man.
I know, right? Like, already pretty good, right?
Already really good. And I'm genuinely sad that we're closing out season 3 because it means we only have a couple more seasons ahead of us. I know they're going to be bangers, but like everything up to this point has really been great.
Honestly, I foresee us spending extra time in the way that we did with like season 4 of the Enterprise. Like, someone already pointed out, like, how many episodes is Way of the Warrior actually going to take? 4? like fair point, right? Like, there's going to be so much density to the product. I think you and I are going to be married to this for longer than you imagine.
Good. Speaking of fake outs and duplicity, we get a pretty a slick opening, right?
Yeah.
Little zinger there as Ben Sisko makes it seem like it's his last day as commander of the station, as if he's going to be moving out, but really he's prepping us for the revelation that he is getting the next pip up and he is going to be a full captain. And it is being awarded to him by his son. And I thought that was really sweet.
It was. It's a nice touch. It's a good way to get Jake in the finale, right? Like, because otherwise he's not really going to be in the mix. There hasn't been any kind of discussion, to be honest, about Sisko wanting or needing a promotion. And it is kind of the B plot of the episode, is him kind of having conversations with people about that before like the A plot really takes over everything.
So out of character, you said that this was Avery Brooks saying, I do not want to come in as a captain. I want this as something that this character earns.
I don't know if that was Avery Brooks's call. I don't recall, but it is the call they made for the character. They like thought that would be a very interesting angle they hadn't explored yet.
I liked it. I mean, in my mind, like, you would be commander of a space station and captain of ships that move around. Like, it didn't feel like it made him less than. That was an interesting dynamic with Picard, but him getting the promotion here feels cool. He has dealt with enough space butthole nonsense that I would say it's warranted. Right. I would say he's probably due for that. Hey, maybe this is part of the punishment from Starfleet Command that admiral had threatened him with. Like, you're going to get a fucking promotion or you're going to get court-martialed, and you're over there.
It is exactly what he was threatened with, which is, it is interesting to look at it from the perspective that as a commander, he had a sort of implicit shield from all the consequences of his actions because he wasn't really fully empowered. He had a lot of bosses. Yeah, and he kind of got away with shit by like playing within the rules of what he was told to do. But by making him a captain, they're eliminating his capacity to do that. He now has executive authority over what's happening. And he has to make the tough calls and live with the consequences and suffer should they be incorrect?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think he's already had all those liabilities on him. He's just been able to general order to
Oh, sure.
the
I
ends
am
justify.
inventing a bit of canon for myself in that, but from just a pure has he earned the pip? I mean, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And Starfleet probably recognizes that
He-
whatever his feelings were about this assignment when it started, he has embraced it and done a spectacular job, and he deserves to be promoted and given more resources.
Speaking of inventing things, we find out that invented champagne, replicated champagne, not as good as the real thing, because as he gets the pip and everybody starts clapping, along comes Quark with libations for everybody. And they're like, that better not be replicated, Quark. And he's like, nah, Bashir, this is real and it's on your tab, bro.
Don't worry, you're getting charged. Rich British man.
Also interesting is the celebration by a certain Miles O'Brien. Congratulations to the newest and best captain in Starfleet.
Oh yeah. All right. John Luke suddenly like sits up in bed. Like I feel like someone said some shit they'd regret.
Like, really, bro? Really?
I don't know. He's like, maybe he does think Sisko's better. It's like, I respect Jean-Luc, but I've seen what Sisko can do to a man. I identify with that. I am Benjamin Maxwell's boy, and this man is much more like my favorite old boss than my most recent old boss.
I'm all PTSD'd up. I have a lot of war flashbacks, and I am not happy unless I'm suffering. I don't know if you want to say I'm a masochist or what, but I was way too safe on the Enterprise. And here, boy, I'm dying all over the place. And
my wife gets informed of my death every other day.
Kidnapped, my teeth pulled out. I got to fight my clones. I got to swap place with my other clone because I'm going to die. And
I'm from the future, technically, because my past self died in front of me.
It's a much better fit for me here. My boss is frequently yelling at me. I have
a much higher chance of getting to suffocate a Cardassian with my bare hands.
That is true. Yeah, there was not enough opportunities for us to openly attack people on the Enterprise.
Unless you're Worf.
So, the party gets cut a little short by an ambassador who comes along, and I like the fact
Krasinski,
because we've talked a lot that maybe this place right on the precipice of madness and all these new planets and civilizations pouring through, maybe we should have a diplomat, not just put all of it on the station commander who is also trying to solve these dilemmas for us. And he's like, hey, well, congratulations on that pip, but I'm not here just for shits and gigs. There's these guys called the Githyanki or something.
The Zenkethi.
Yeah, the Githyanki.
You never see them. They never come up again. It's a bit of a disappointment in the writing to invent a minor species that the Federation evidently had a war with at some point.
War. When did that war happen? We've talked heavily, again, Hasbrat homework. What were the border skirmish wars with the Cardassians? Who are these Githyanki that they have been able to get a formal war with Starfleet?
There's obviously lots of books and stuff that support this idea.
I hate books.
But it is characterized as a very small conflict, and not necessarily a war in the traditional sense.
Yeah, they're over there in the South America quadrant of space.
It should have been something you would have known, like the Tholians or something.
I'm fine with these guys because whatever. The whole point is there's been a military coup. And the stabilizing factor government that had been in place has been replaced. And we've got some hardliners. We're concerned that there's nonsense. And we want to go flex nuts on these guys and keep them in line. And this is a red flag to me as any other time the Defiant, which has been docked at Deep Space Nine. This crazy souped up gunship was pulled out of mothballs. And it was assigned to Deep Space Nine to protect Bajor. And it does not have science bays, and it doesn't have individual crew quarters. There's no holodecks or anything else. This thing is a warship there to fight and fight alone. And anything that takes it away from its posting, throws up bid red flags. And we can say, well, listen, they've pulled this thing for every stupid reason. Dax has a hangnail. We got to go home. Send the Defiant. We're out of milk. Go to the supermarket. Take the Defiant. UPS didn't show up today, and I got all these packages that had to go out.
Take the Defiant.
Take the Defiant. So, yeah, like, hey, there's some shit going on. We want to fucking scare people.
Take the Defiant.
Go use this fucking broken beer bottle with photon torpedo strapped to it.
And a cloaking device.
Which you shouldn't be using in the Alpha Quadrant. So, they're going to send it out. And it's my same complaint with everything else. Not only are you taking this ship away from Deep Space Nine, you were taking all of your upper management to staff the ship. And I get it. You're going to go tell us Deep Space Nine story. You need your characters there, and we're not going to be on Deep Space Nine. They don't need to be there. It still doesn't feel good. And I will also say, as we start moving into the beginning of this, where they shove off Doc and they're zipping around and O'Brien's hearing weird noises or whatever, it enters into it felt very Enterprise to me. A guy in a Jeffries tubes hearing weird noises and there's something fucky going on. And I do not appreciate a starship plot on Deep Space Nine at this point.
Doesn't seem right.
It doesn't seem right. Like, Deep Space Nine has established itself as a storytelling vehicle about your main characters in a very public place with lots of different characters around, not a controlled military vessel with limited population and empty corridors.
This isn't a Jeffries tube show. Like...
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, that's real deep. It's just like, your plot should not involve your characters in Jeffries tubes in Deep Space Nine. This doesn't make sense.
I mean, sometimes it's got to be plasma fires on both ends and, Miles O'Brien getting cooked alive while Jake trudges on ahead. But yeah,
it feels way different. Like, those Cardassian corridors don't feel like Jeffries tubes. They feel like something different, something alien, something not quite Federation-y.
Speaking of not quite Federation-y, this engineering set, which...
Oh, yeah. First time we've seen it.
Very interesting to deploy a brand new, fancy-looking set last episode of the season. Also, you get into engineering with a ladder. Yet again, we go back to, there is no room for ADA compliance with Ben Sisko.
Well, like, the fact that the warp core can just, like, be opened and you can throw motherfuckers into it.
Also,
that makes the Jonas getting thrown into hell by Neelix moments really seem different now.
And Temperate classes had much better safety features. What are the red doors behind the warp core? They're just blinking red. They look like incineration chambers.
But yes, this is the first time we see the Defiant engine room. Is it the first time we see the Defiant, like, mess hall?
Yeah.
I feel like it might have been. Yeah. So we got more sets now for the Defiant, kind of foreshadowing further use, obviously, of the ship as a setting in the future.
What was the last big money episode they put in?
Big money. Let me look at this. They definitely spent a lot on the fucking changeling effects on this one.
Well, geez, that's too bad. Because, like, overall, like, this is not a fancy episode. Like, you think
die is cast.
Yeah,
like the big fight with the Romulans and the Cardassians.
Maybe they just took the rest of the budget. We're like, all right, we're not doing best of both worlds here. Just build some new sets and use the rest of the budget this way. And that's a great thing to use for.
Yeah, it sets them up for the future. No, I completely agree.
Overall, this is a very muted episode. And it's exactly what you're talking about. Like, this is setting the tone for season 4, which is very clearly going to be the paranoia season. Rightfully deserved paranoia season. This is a small story with a tight cast in a limited geographic in terms like it's one ship. We're not all over the place. We're not moving between worlds and planet side locations. This is a small in scope episode with huge potential impact and huge actual impact in terms of what's going to come out of it. Like, it's very subtle and insidious. This is insidious episode.
It is like the closest you're going to get to something like The Thing.
Yes.
In an episode of Star Trek, right? Like, and it reverberates all the way to, like, when we watched season 3 of Picard, right?
Yeah.
And changed the infiltration then. and how paranoid the Federation still is about it.
Mhm.
You know, like the shit matters a lot. So they pile on to the Defiant. It's everybody, including Eddington. Yeah, all right. So we have, was it Kang the Conqueror? What the fuck he played?
Beastmaster.
Beastmaster.
No, Krull.
Krull. Okay, this is some '80s fantasy hero with
Some 80s
Norwood
film.
3 level villainy hair. You know, there's a couple scenes of Dax talking to Sisko about Cassidy Yates, and like that relationship has continued off screen. They're gonna watch the 1964 World Series together, apparently. So apparently, someone really likes watching the Yankees lose. So Sisko's got that going for him.
Don't kink shame.
And so it is a fun scene between him and Dax that demonstrates again like the very unique relationship. It's very different than having a best male friend, right? Like this is a girl who's like trying to give you pointers so that you can like land the chick in a way that only someone like Dax would be in a position to do, right?
Yeah,
Kinda
she's also
him-
mining for gossip though, and she's like, listen, I got to give something to everybody else. Like you are,
She's honest, right? Like
you are the thing people are interested in. Matt, and that's another like degree of separation between Picard and Sisko, or Sisko and Kirk, even, right? Like,
right.
this guy is not beyond reproach by a long shot. People are up in his business, and I don't want to say they're disrespectful, but they are very familiar with him.
Which, owing to his lower rank, probably made it a lot easier.
I think, again, like you keep citing this rank, I think it's a fact that he has openly asked people to break the rules in major ways at least once a season.
Yeah, and he's like, well, if you're gonna tell me I need to commit treason, I suppose I'm gonna get to know about your love life. We're friends now.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
like what wasn't it at the beginning of season 2 that he's like sitting down, have his coffee, and Kira rolls up and is like, may I take a shuttlecraft to go commit illegal acts in Cardassian space? He was like, all right, damn, bitch. I guess so, but we're friends now.
Let me eat my fucking croissant. Jesus.
I have this coffee and I'll get back to you.
My Raccachino. So Miles hears some shit while he's in engineering. And I hope this is a learning point. And the next time Miles hears a strange noise, it turns into a security alert.
Yeah, like, wait a second. I served on the flagship. Suspicious noises always involve danger. He's a little less. He's got a little less self-preservation instinct than he should.
O'Brien to Sisko, I just heard a loud thud. Either something is skulking about these Jeffrey tubes, or your experimental ship is falling apart.
Either way, we need to alert status.
Either way, make sure you tell Kiko I love her.
O'Brien has another weird moment in the Jeffrey's tubes that should have clued him in more, which is he hears another noise and he's like, who's there? And like Julian Bashir pops out and is like, oh, it's me. I was doing engineering things. I'm done now. Goodbye.
I was connecting a new console to the power grid. And he's like, well, I could have done that for you. And this might actually be my strong contender for a favorite moment of the episode. When Julian's like, well, I can do it myself. I took those engineering extension courses, which you may remember from when the space elves gave us AIDS.
Apocalypse Now or whatever.
And I had to be the one fixing the communication buoys because you were sick as fuck with space AIDS as we were down on the surface. And I'm like, what a great callback that was. And this is a hard one for me because O'Brien and Bashir are BFF. Bashir's acting a little goofy. He inspects the work. He goes, that looks good. And then at no point do they ever circle back and talk about it. And to me,
that's the part I don't believe, where he would come out of the Jeffrey's tubes and be like, damn, Julie, you did a really good job.
Like, exactly. Like, hey,
and he'd be like, what do you mean?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and like,
that's what I don't get.
Can't have that happen. Or maybe you could have structured, okay, well, now I'm concerned about things. But whatever. It's minor. Voyager has certainly done worse.
Oh, yeah. Like, we're grading on a hell of a curve right now. Like,
big time.
Deep Space Nine is so above everything else. When we complain about it, I do feel like There's like a blanket caveat of no, seriously, this is still like top tier. Like,
I've been going through re-listening to season 3 because I am desperate to find what my weakest shit award's going to be. There's a dearth on bad.
I feel like there's a couple good choices, but I won't talk about them right now.
I think I know which one I want, but they keep zipping off. Notably, they have the ambassador with them, and Sisko pulls Eddington in. And it's interesting to see where Sisko is going to draw the line on Eddington versus Odo situations. Because we haven't really gotten that much of Eddington.
No.
And he goes, all right, shit hits the fan. I want the ambassador off the bridge, and that's going to be on you. And Eddington's like, well, I'll just have to make sure I don't mind. And just before I go, sir, let me do a little brown nosing and talk about how cool it is that you're a captain. That's what everybody gets into Starfleet. People wearing gold suits don't get to be the captain, and you deserve it. You know, O'Brien's right, you deserve it. Again, feels like a very brown nosy scene. The scene I needed here was, hey, thanks for not telling me to pack my shit up and get the fuck off your station after I sabotaged the Defiant during the Cardassian Romulan debacle. I respect you for keeping me around, and I will never disappoint you again. Thank you, sir.
A very interesting relationship. I will say that. It's like they obviously respect each other, but the fact that like Eddington is playing out of a different playbook than him, that tension is still there, right? Like Eddington's not his guy. He reports to someone else, right? He said that. Like, I report to that fucking Starfleet admiral, not you. I work here. I have to listen to your commands. But when it comes to who does my fucking my performance reviews, they're going to someone else, right? And that kind of matters for that kind of relationship where you can't really tell him to pack up. That was the whole point. You know, it kind of is in this weird spot where
well,
he doesn't
let's
really
talk
have
about that for a second. You can't get rid of Ben Sisko. He is doing too good of a job, and he is Bajoran Jesus.
Yes.
You cannot fire this guy without basically sacrificing the Bajoran application to the Federation, which we
and therefore your access to the wormhole too.
And that. So you've got a guy who likes to be a bad boy frequently and not just ignore rules, but go the complete opposite direction. At least twice now. Get off the station. Leave the Civil War alone. Nope. Don't go into Cardassian Tal Shiar Delta Quadrant sneak attack to rescue Odo. Nope. And both times it's worked out. General Order 2 saved his ass. But you can't fire this guy, even if you wanted to. So you're going to have to start doing things to keep him on the guardrails. And that's what you're talking about. It's Eddington and it's outside observers. And it's putting, I don't know if you call them safeguards or railings on things. But that's what it looks like to me.
You know, we start to have like a distress call that we will later find out has been faked. The whole thing's been faked, obviously. Like, it's all a setup by the founders.
And none of it's outside the scope of reasonable either. Like, that's the cool thing is like...
It's very wag the dog style. Like, you can see how this all gets made up.
Little string pulls. We know how these guys work. It's the same formula. It's like it's a TV show. Here comes the guest actor. He's got a mission. You go in. Here's a concerning communication. Uh-oh, we better be careful. This is all in the playbook. We've gone through this many, many times before. And by the time things start going off the rails, it's too late. We are committed, and now I've got you where I want you.
And they're able to fake the order because the Federation has this tendency of when they get up to stuff that's in the gray area, they have a guy go to the guy to tell him in person. We know that's a habit they have, right? And that's a real, like, there's no, we sent this to you via a secured channel saying, hey, go run the flag out there because we want to, like, intimidate these guys after this. No. This is all real hush-hush. So we got an ambassador who goes to Sisko who's like, welcome to the big leagues. I'm here because I got your first task. I'm going with you. And so this is a big deal. because I want to see what the fuck happens, and I report that back to the Federation Council, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like that's how that shady shit gets done in the Federation. We saw it happen with the Enterprise all the time, and so it makes sense to them. They all buy it, like, oh yeah, obviously this is what happens if an ambassador shows up and he's got orders that tells us that we're going to do some shit.
Well, the orders here, again, fits their playbook tight. Miles has his little run-in with Bashir. They're flying along. Hey, we've got some cause for concern here. It's time to phone home. And nobody can phone home. All the comm systems are down.
And everything gets locked out. Before they can do really much of anything, as these revelations happen, something starts to infiltrate all the major systems. O'Brien goes and inspects with Dax. It's like this mess of living tentacles that are like going through all of their different systems. It looks like
slug stalks.
Yeah, looks like a foreign invasion, like a disease. And the ship, it's locked them out. And the pieces are starting to come together of like, well, this ship is on a fucking suicide course to do some bad shit in this part of space and start a war.
Oh shit, I thought I was going on a mission. I didn't know we were going to play Among Us.
And here we are, Among Us 2371 edition. We're going to figure out who is doing the sabotaging. Dax has the idea, first I'm going to scan everybody for this particle that only O'Brien and I have been exposed to for sure. The only other people that should have been exposed is someone who's been in that conduit that was sabotaged. And I think they're going to find it's Julian, of course, which is why they wait to bait out the conversation that would have happened immediately. But it goes, scans the ambassador. He knows what's going to happen. He's got a smile on his face because he's got, like, I'm going to fuck with them, right? Like, now I'm going to terrorize these people. Now that I've succeeded, I'm going to fuck around. And he lets himself get caught and then just boom tubes into like a vent.
Well, first he like swells up and like bops people back like it's an AoE. He starts moving basically like he's Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yes. He does like a Frost Nova AoE and teleports away.
And now people are like, oh shit.
This is way worse than we thought.
Here's the real terror. We're caught on this with we all know what Odo can do, and we know that Odo doesn't have shit on these guys. And Odo, who has always been able to like cheat his way through things, is like, oh fuck, we are outclassed, and I'm going to be confronted with my own inadequacies. And we're going to have to lock this down before we cause a war, because like the game is immediately apparent. They're going to put the Federation at war, and we are going to have. That's how they're going to get us. And that's, I'm thinking about it now, like, okay, well, here we're going to start shit with the Githyanki. What other wars? How many other ships is this happening on?
Yeah, and none of us are going to survive to tell anybody, right? Like,
who's going to go fuck with the Tholians? Who's going to go fuck with the Gorn? Who's going to go fuck with
the Klingons?
I mean, the Klingons at least got it. Like, there's so many bullshit civilization, the fucking stretchy face guys from Insurrection or whatever. Like
the Sona.
You got a lot of problems that are going to start happening real quick for you here. And the paranoia the crew starts feeling is great. They're like, we're going to lock everybody down into quarters. It's just going to be security out. We're going to buddy up. We're going to get our phaser rifles, which them using the Type 3 phaser rifles, those things look terrible. I understand now why they went to the dildo tips for First Contact, because, man, these phaser rifles, I think the last time you see phaser rifles canonically was Lower Decks, the TNG episode where they're shooting at the shuttlecraft when the Bajoran chicks flying off to go infiltrate the Maquis, I think, or Cardassians. Some good world lore, like Eddington's like, I wish the sensors worked, and Odo's like, they'd be useless, because apparently if you scan me while I am morphed into a rock, I am a rock as far as the sensors are concerned. And I think that's
very
the first
good
time.
Like thing that A+ spackle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our unusual magic technology does not function because the abilities of my people make it so that we will appear like the thing that we look like. Great. I don't need to know anything else, right? Lock it in.
We jump forward to the point where we're like, all right, here's the game plan. Sisko, you're bleeding, your blood's on the floor. If I were to bleed, as soon as my goo leaves me, it turns back into goo. That's how we're gonna get it. Okay, cool. Well, let's get a hypospray. We're gonna pull blood on people.
It's interesting how that never came up before, though, because they've been thinking about hunting changelings and dealing with the changelings since the beginning of the season, right? Like we opened with that like drill of them trying to find Odo.
I will
And
give
he never mentioned like, a good way to detect if I'm impersonating one of you would be that I don't bleed.
I think it works because I think Odo wants there to be peace between him and the people, and there's a level of professional courtesy they've shown him, and I can understand a hesitation on showing too much of his own playbook and admitting his own not admitting, but like divulging his own weaknesses.
Okay, fair.
And before, like, yeah, maybe the founders did kill the New Bajorn colony and, murder everybody there, but maybe they're not that bad. Okay, now we're on a ship. They're taking my ship to go start a war. Like, I'm going to have to fucking tighten the belt down. Like,
could be just that because it's never come up in his head before.
They've also never played an infiltration game before. Like, this is the first time.
It's like, oh yeah, I don't bleed, and they wouldn't bleed either. Like, it just never occurred to them until then.
So we're going to draw blood, and we're going to frame Eddington.
Right. Like, what's a great way to subvert this new way to test? If you are impersonating the doctor and he's holding the vial, it's part of the morphogenic matrix, and he can make whoever he wants look like they're testing positive.
Again, these are D&D. Joe, you're my dungeon master, and you can sit there and be as devious as you want, and just a whole list of gotcha bitch tricks.
Yeah.
To use on your players. And this TV show is implementing the most duplicitous, sketchy shit possible. And it works. And they're setting such great stakes. As you said, this is as impactful as the Odyssey, as a galaxy, as the Enterprise proxy being destroyed is demonstrating the threat, the existential threat to the Federation with the behavior that this changeling is doing in terms of detail-oriented fuckery. Weak shit contender is everybody standing around about to throw Eddington into the brig. A door blows up and we see Julian Bashir behind a force field like, let me out. And then everybody looks at fake Bashir and all these guys holding guns pointing them that direction.
Don't shoot. Somehow. That might be your weakest shit right there. You're right.
Like, very strong contender. Also, the fact that Julian Bashir, that this thing doesn't T-1000 people, that this guy is cloning people without killing them. Probably killed the ambassador, but Julian Bashir, you're going to leave him alive in a fucking holding cell or whatever?
Don't have anywhere to hide the bodies. And if you start making bodies, you're gonna up your aggro a little too much.
Here's my headcanon. Again, is that these are all tests, and this is a war for Odo's soul. And if they would kill Odo's friends, it would make converting him impossible. And by leaving him alone, they're leaving a bridge open for him to ultimately join them and not alienate it. So,
I mean, it does appear to be the play at the end, right? Like, he's fucking with everybody because he is attempting to find a way to get Odo and get him to leave with him.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he obviously makes a choice that he's ride or die with his friends. But I think there's something very much to your point, a point we have made, I think, from the beginning of the season this year. So it's a nice way to tie it up, which is how much of the rest of Deep Space Nine is just the Dominion attempting to convince Odo to abandon the solids. Like, how much of this is just a proxy for the war for his soul? And we've had multiple episodes this season that really suggest that's true. Heart of Stone, number one with a bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Entirely arranged to that purpose.
the fucking search part 2 or whatever, they all get caught in that VR interrogation escape room and nobody gets killed. They're not willing to murder people in front of Odo up to this point.
And partially because changelings don't harm each other. A point that was made repeatedly this season.
Well, they used to not.
Yeah, which is why it's a great way to end, which is Odo does something no changeling has ever done.
No changeling has ever slammed another changeling against a nuclear reactor.
No changeling has ever Jonas to motherfucker. Like
Odo's like,
or Janus to motherfucker.
Something. I know something. I know the weak spot on changelings is their back, and if a rock hits you in the back, it knocks you out. Let's see what happens when a warp core hits you on the back. Oh, you get space cancer and die in like 6 seconds. The Defiant is locked in on this course. These little schmoopy Fraggle Rock slugs. They got the death grip on the ship. They're all hidden behind force fields. There's a way
they activate the audio destruct sequence, and it works.
Yeah, I think that would be the end of my Starfleet career. I think I could go through exactly one time that Janeway threatened to blow the ship up rather than let the Kazon get a hold of the technology or whatever. I mean, Janeway threatened to blow Voyager up, I want to say at least 5 times.
A lot. She did that a lot.
Probably more.
At least this is a pretty acceptable reason to do it of well, we can't be used to start a war, so sorry guys, all 40 of us are going to have to fucking die.
Kieran Reese's facial acting when they were turning the auto destruct on was good. And appreciate for a minute, she didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
Starfleet, sorry guys, this is in the training. Her, fuck, I'm going to have to commit suicide over the Federation, which I am not a part of, wanting to preserve peace, and this isn't a guaranteed war. There's a lot of what if here, and it's me that is going to condemn the people here to die. So great little sub moment for her, but by the end, again, 2 Odos show up right as Bashir and or I don't know, maybe I think it's Bashir and O'Brien are about to fix things, and the 2 Odos show up. No, it was O'Brien and some fucking no-name who looked like someone off whatever. And O'Brien's just like, I don't have time for this fucking shoot the right one guy. I'm going to do work. Red shirt, you keep an eye on these guys and we'll see what happens. And then changeling guy turns into, ugly dress changeling guy and runs and clubs both O'Brien and no name. And then grabs Odo's goo heart.
It's the fight scene of this man going, yeah, it's just apparently hammer blowing both of them unconscious.
Flappers only.
Didn't he put you put Dax in a coma with too many quaaludes or something?
The founders are not above roofing people. They're just a vile bunch. Odo hits him against a warp core. He's now committed the first murder. They get back. Everything seems to be fine. Everybody's like, oh, fuck, that was really intense. And we're in some deep shit. And we find out some really ominous final message from the infiltrator. And it's a real, again, Star Trek. I like these Star Trek endings where it's fuck. At the end of the Next Gen episode where they shot the neck bugs. And they're like, fuck, that thing's been broadcasting out to there. There's going to be more of these things. And that's the vibes you're getting off of these infiltrators, right?
Yeah.
And we've been primed against this by that episode specifically, which they never did anything with. But what if leadership gets co-opted? What if we have to doubt the loyalty of people who we know? And this time we're going to make good on it. And the final message is, you're too late. We are everywhere. And if that's what the message, and the implication is, if one of us could do this to you, what happens when we're fucking with the people who aren't the hero crews? What happens when we're dealing with the Zeros and the real gas station employees? And the Mirandas.
The fact that this guy seemed to really enjoy fucking around with these people and psychologically tormenting them with this unknown is a great indication of like, and what if every single one of me who is doing this is just as fucked as me, right? Like, where the founders are a race absent any notion of empathy, right?
Sociopaths.
They are 100% dyed in the wool psychos, and they don't care about what they're doing and the consequences of it, and the moral implications of it. They are unconcerned in the most explicit way possible. And it's what makes them strangely threatening and compelling as villains in a way that the Borg on Voyager never even reached. As the Morg, right? As this strangely weak, defeatable, like harvestable for pixie dust, um, you know, kind of like antagonists of the weak. The Dominion seem a little bit more sinister than them. They seem more driven, more capable, and more devoid of empathy and morality. Like they even had Borg internal revolts because a bunch of drones secretly were in a paradise dimension with each other. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Like none of that for the Dominion.
No.
The founders are solid gold assholes. The fucking Jem'Hadar are monsters, and to the degree we've seen them, the other elements of the Dominion are essentially controlled by fear. Utterly. It's like you do what they're told, or the Jem'Hadar show up and you die. That's the first thing we fucking heard about them this season.
It's a 1-2 punch. You got perfect infiltrator assassins, and you've got an unbeatable Legion. Fuck you. These guys are ready to go playing Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Great season closeout. Again, it's a small story, but it's an intense story. It really sets a mood. It really forecasts the real shitstorm that's going to be blowing in and shows people that they really got their work cut out for them. And I think this is going to do a great job challenging the ideals and the morals of the Federation. And when you have a Omega level threat like this looming on the horizon, like what is going to happen to all the smaller stories we've been telling about the Circle and the Maquis, and
it's all going to fall away.
Cardat, like you're not. What moral flexibility are you going to have in dealing with people who could be anyone and can subvert anything? And as you stretch those morals to accommodate that Omega level threat, where do the other rank and file dilemmas fall in, and how are they going to start getting handled? Can you take time away from your war with these existential monsters to have zany little villain of the week encounters?
It's a bit spoiled, obviously, to you because we watched Voyager, right? Like, that the Maquis meet a very terrible end, right? And so that I think, though, keep that in mind as you consider the show does not spare answering those questions, right?
Yep.
All of these stories are impacted by this, and in some ways, deeply troubling ways. Yes, I agree. Great wrap to the season. Very much looking forward to watching our next episode, which I will read so you're not spoiled on a couple things. The Way of the Warrior, which is explicitly a double-length episode. It is supposed to be viewed as one unit. We will probably break it up because we're going to talk so much about it. But when a Klingon fleet under General Martok arrives at the station, ostensibly to protect the Alpha Quadrant from the Dominion, Sisko recruits Lieutenant Commander Worf to discover the Klingons' true intentions. Shit is about to get real.
Mm-hmm.
Worf is about to be a main character.
Better watch out on those bridges.
Deep Space Nine is about to fucking start. For everybody else, we're we're about to do our rip. We're very excited about that. If you're listening to this as the episode comes out on the 22nd, we'll be doing the rip live on January 27th. So that is next Tuesday from when we're recording. And when you hear this, I will put that out on Twitter, Facebook, and the Discord group. I'll try to make it as wide as possible that everyone knows. We're going to do it live on YouTube. Yeah. Start time DVD, going to be in the evening, 8, 9, something like that. We'll let everybody know. Show up if you can. I mean, the more the merrier, so that we can talk about your thoughts, talk about what you thought about the episodes, our picks for best, worst, weakest shit, all of our awards. Always have a good time. Episode will go up as a podcast episode that Thursday, and will sit on YouTube separately as a video. So, and then after that, we're going to put our last Patreon episode up that we have recorded, which is on GTFX's Battlefield 359, and might take a week off as we kind of get things going. And when we come back, and we'll let everyone know when that is, we're going to start with a Wharf homework episode that we're excited to do, that we've talked about, and then we're going to get into season 4 after that. So thanks again. Sorry, my voice has run out, so I'm going to just kind of cut it off here, and we will see everyone next week in the rip. Thanks.